All right, traders, welcome to SPAC's Attack. We're doing a little things differently today, so instead of just running right into our show, we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit while you guys start joining up. I know that a lot of people are probably watching right now the news desk from Benzinga on our other streams, so we're going to get people over. We're going to give it about 3 to 4 minutes, so you guys just hang tight. We'll put something on the screen. We'll keep something going here, and at the end of the day, guys, we've been building. I can put the watch list up while we kind of wait here. Just gonna go ahead and put that up here, and then we'll just kind of wait till we get people moving on over. But if you're new to SPAC's Attack, welcome. This is where we talk everything SPACs. I think this is a great day. Some people are thinking this is a bad day, but I really think this is personally a great day because you get opportunities, and opportunities don't come often, especially close towards that $10 price point. So today I'm going to be really looking for some shopping. I've already picked up a couple more shares of SEH. Because we had this quick dip today, and I was buying up pre-market. I got a little bit more, closer towards 1035 now with quite amount of shares. I'm starting to add up in this one. Another one that I got, guys, that I added today was SPNV. So, hey guys, if you guys are new to the stream, we're waiting for everyone to join up from the other stream. Started it a little bit early today as we kind of run through some of the watch lists, just hanging out, guys, while everybody joins up. Hey, Chris, I'm sure they missed you yesterday. It looks like they're missing you.
Hey, Mitch, how we doing?
Not bad at all, man. Just checking a look at some of these opportunities that we got today. I was able to add a little bit of SPNV, so I was able to double down like I talked about, but the best part is, guys, I was able to double down right at my entry, which was 1135s there. So hey, not too mad in SPNV, just sitting tight there. Now a little bit in the green, and I was a little bit in the red today, but not too concerning for me, as I think this one will eventually announce and get on up there. So I actually have some orders out below 11 also to add. But of course, it didn't break down through that 11, so we'll see what it does for the rest of the day. But hey, not a bad opportunity there in SEAH. All right, guys, looks like everybody is starting to come in here. We're starting to get some people to join in. We have a great interview today, so if you guys don't know about Faraday Future, you guys will learn a lot about that today. It's going to be interesting to get into that interview. We'll probably get to that interview around probably 11:15, 11:14, around there. We're still getting some people to join up here, so it looks like we have 103 viewers right now. So let's wait till we get to like about 400 viewers. I know we're gonna get up there. So, hey guys, let's get this started. Let's smash the like button. Let me switch up here. This is not SPAC's Attack. That's SPAC's Attack there. All right, guys. Definitely smash that like button, guys. Smash that like button as we keep growing. One of the things that I'd say is that these are days of opportunities. In my eyes, I don't necessarily get worried here. I more along look for buying opportunities and what has been pulled back for me on a discount that I could potentially get in. I know that a lot of people are going to want to talk about CCIV, so we'll get to that. I see some people mentioning it. But we'll get right to there. Looks like they missed you, Chris. Look, they missed you, man. They missed you. Good morning, Johan. Hey, how is everybody doing? Just want to give a shout out to everyone as we keep adding some more people here. So we got Unwilling Cactus. We got Joe in the house. We got Davy in the house. Denise, Dan. What's going on? Vista, Ben, Blockchain, Johan. What's going on, guys? It's good to see you guys back with us. Like always, one of the things we've been doing is we've definitely been growing our viewership. So we're going to get started in about one more minute here, and we'll play the intro and kind of start rolling with the show. But we've really been trying to kind of pull our viewers over from our last show, as we've been changing over from an 8-hour all-day stream to kind of the separate shows. But hey, we're going to keep building on this content and keep building here. So let's go ahead and kind of get started here with the intro as we get a couple more people joining up here. It looks like they're starting to pile in here. Looks like the other one is just about wrapping up. Let me make sure that other one's wrapped up before we get started here. Chris, go ahead and let them know what you're thinking about today. Are you excited about this opportunity? Are you kind of worried? What's going on?
Yeah, obviously huge sell-off across the markets and huge sell-off across SPACs. We're going to talk about CCIV later on. I think that's reminiscent here of some when we saw a little bit of a pullback with Nikola back in the fall, when one SPAC could really have an impact and send a bunch of them down. So to me, today's a buying opportunity. I've got several on my watch list ready to add. And CCIV is actually currently picking back up right now with their conference call being held on that deal. So definitely, not a cause for panic here for either CCIV or for SPACs in general. Complete market sell-off today, and we're here to help walk you through steps you can take.
All right. I'm back here. I lost audio there for a second, so I wanted to make sure that we had that rolling here. Let's go ahead and let's get the show started. All right. How we doing, traders? And welcome to the SPACs Attack, where we talk everything SPAC. And I got my brains back with me, so happy to have my man Chris Katje right back. How you doing, man? Welcome back.
Doing good. How about you, Mitch?
Hey, ready for another show and looking for some opportunities with these big pullbacks that we had this morning. I mean, really, when you think about it, we've had. Since about like 10 o'clock, we've had a good bounce. So it's maybe not the best time right now, but this morning, man, there was some opportunities out there. So let's go ahead and let's get into some headlines. I know there's not too much, so I want to get to the watch list really quickly and see if there's any opportunities out there that are still standing present.
All right, guys. Yeah, so we're just going to touch on headlines quick here. Obviously, everyone wants to get to those deal announcements, and then also kind of want some trading ideas based off the watch list and the sell-off today. So we do have a couple new SPACs trading today. We have SLAM, that's ticker SLAMU. Will begin trading as units today. So that's the one with former MLB star Alex Rodriguez. So those units include 1/4 of a warrant. This was a $500 million SPAC. To me, going public on a day like today, we could have a buying opportunity for units in SLAM here. This is Alex Rodriguez, who's no stranger to the business world. He's been on Shark Tank. He's done endorsement deals. He's invested in companies. And then also you have the co-founder of QuantumScape, right? So ticker QS attached to this SPAC. So clearly he knows the process of taking a company public via SPAC. QuantumScape, one of the best performing SPACs of last year. So that definitely excites me. So I'm watching SLAMU today to kind of see where we start trading, what kind of patterns we have. And, I'll be looking at that. I'm seeing 1041 right now. Looks like they opened at 1028. So again, those include 1/4 of a warrant. So you have a buying opportunity here, with the warrants being included in the units. Not everyone's brokers trade units. So again, that depends on who you use. Then the other big new SPAC today I'm seeing is GSEVU. So this is Gore's Holding 7. So we talked about Alec Gore's on our SPAC Hall of Fame segment and show. So again, one of the top names in the SPAC world. He's done lots of big deals, including United Wholesale Mortgage, which was the largest SPAC last year. Just experience, big name. So to me, again, on a day with SPACs trading down, I'm curious to see how this one trades, if people are buying into it on the units, or if because of the day we're seeing, there is some opportunity there. I'll be looking at getting both of these, right around that 1050 sweet spot, because again, these are units that include that upside with the warrants. So keep an eye on both of those as we move into today. And then yesterday, we of course had lots of deal announcements. So looking at the movers from yesterday, so we had RSVA up 32%. This was a battery deal done. I have an article out on this one on the main Benzinga website. This one was the one that really caught my eye, right? So they compare themselves to QuantumScape, but they're actually a couple years ahead, according to that presentation. So to me, that's some exciting technology that they have. They're targeting cell phones, laptops, augmented reality, virtual reality before they get into the auto market. And they already have several tier 1 customers lined up. They have investments from Intel, Qualcomm, and Cypress Semiconductor, so big names there as well. Then we had NGAC up 5%, and then the fallers, right? So NSTB down 2%, SVAC down 5%, TDAC down 5%, and FAII down 13%. I know you guys hit on these yesterday. TDAC is the other one that excites me. That's lottery.com. Kind of using that blockchain technology, for online lottery sales. And again, as we move, during the pandemic and post-pandemic, there is some opportunity for growth, buying lottery tickets online versus, going to your gas station to get them. So that one excites me as well. And then RSVA, the other thing I'll note, which it looks like John Doe also mentioned in the chat, that pipe deal was done at $14 instead of the traditional $10. So yesterday was the first time, to my knowledge, and to Julian Klimachko, the SPAC king, his knowledge, that a pipe deal was done, over the offering price. So a typical SPAC goes public at $10. When they do the pipe, it's also offered at $10. And yesterday you had both RSVA at $14 for the pipe and CCIV at $15 for the pipe. So definitely a trend to watch. We could see a lot more of that going forward. And then ARK funds, right? So Kathy Wood, we talk about her when she adds SPACs to those funds. Yesterday, she loaded up once again on CMLF, adding another 500,000 shares to the ARK Genomic, that's ticker ARKG. ETF. So, she has a big stake in this company now. Definitely one to watch. All the SPACs that she has added, have typically turned positive from the first day that she adds them. Obviously, they get a little bit of bump on that announcement, but she has a good eye for growth right now, and a lot of people chasing into the deals that she is doing. And then Rush Street Interactive, RSI, this is, a sports betting play. They announced that they will report earnings on March 10th. I know that yesterday on the show, you guys also talked about how they had a swap deal with Penn National. So they granted Penn access to the New York market, and in exchange, they get the rights to 3 states and a possible first right of refusal to a 4th state of Texas. So Rush Street Interactive, really trying to grow on a state-by-state basis. And, as we talked to Niccolo De Masi, again, the big play for them here isn't so much the sports betting side, it's the iGaming side, right, which is more profitable. They're the leader in it across the nation. So, even though they have that Bet Rivers brand with strong, Illinois numbers, showing up in Michigan, Illinois, and other places, it's all about that online gaming. So they're getting rights to more states through that swap with Penn National. So definitely keep an eye out on RSI here today. That's one that's on my shopping list today that I wrote down, on today's pullback. And then turning to the deals. So, I guess we'll save we should probably save CCIV for last here. So one deal yesterday that I didn't see much on until later on, it was actually announced around lunchtime, was CERAF. This is an OTC SPAC. So they reached a deal to acquire Parallel Corp for $1.9 billion. Parallel is led by William Wrigley Jr. He's the heir to the Wrigley Gum fortune, which has since been sold off. And Parallel, this is a cannabis company. So they have 42 brick and mortar stores across 5 states. Revenue estimated at $447 million for fiscal 2021. This one shot up to $15 when it was announced. It traded down to $11. So, again, cannabis SPACs, we've seen the movement. They don't always jump right away, but then when we start talking cannabis names, the investors find the cannabis SPACs as well. We saw that with Clever Leaves. We saw that with Subversive, the Jay-Z, the cannabis SPAC deal. This one to me looks interesting. I'll be diving into this. It may have been necessary with the regulations in the U.S. market. Our other big deal announced this morning, GRSV. This is an agreement with RDOG Metal Packaging, a global supplier of recyclable metal, beverage, and glass packaging. So, this is going to be for the can business from RDOG, that's ticker ARD. Projected revenue of $3.8 billion in fiscal 2021, $4.5 billion in fiscal 2022. This was done at an $8.5 billion valuation. I own shares of GRSV. This has been rumored for a little while. I'm excited about this one. Again, it's not that sexy electric vehicle name. But when you look at cans, there's no shortage of companies needing cans, plastic, glass, and RDOG is a leader there. They're also working on sustainable packaging, which is a key growth item going forward. So to me, I think GRSB is getting this deal done. They're going to take over that metal side of things. They're going to try to make it, more sustainable, really look at the growth prospects going forward. So, to me, that's one. I own shares, and I'll be looking to see kind of how we trade today. Again, a down day, but, with that deal announcement, we do have shares, trading just over $10. So to me, they still look attractive here. So keep an eye out on GRSV. And then CCIV, of course, so Churchill Capital 4. Lucid Motors confirmed that deal right around 5:45 last night with a press release. A lot of confusion on the valuation here. I'll try to clear it up as much as I can. So the deal values Lucid Motors at $11.75 billion. That's based on that $10 share price of CCIV. And then the pipe was done at $15. So again, this is a pipe above the offering price. This was also the largest pipe deal in dollars done for a SPAC. So that pipe then at $15 a share valued the company at $24 billion. So the complete merger was not done at a $24 billion valuation. The deal was done at $11.75 billion. The investors in the pipe then got in at a $24 billion valuation. And obviously with shares, they were already trading around $60. That values the company much higher than that $11.75 billion based on the $10. So, know what you own, know about valuation. But as we've talked in this market, valuation doesn't matter a ton with everyone chasing after, growth. And with SPACs, electric vehicles, it's all about the growth, right? So I own shares of CCIV. Full disclosure, I've talked about this one on the show, at length. Mitch brought it up when it was a $10 SPAC and they were targeting DirecTV. I talked about it, the day after that Lucid Motors rumor broke because it happened after our show aired that day. I was able to buy in, around that $12 price point. I sold some of my shares in the high 30s, took profits, and I still own shares of CCIV. I am not worried about the fall. As you see, we're already starting to come back up. To me, the CEO interview today on CNBC said all the same things he said along, targeting that luxury market first, being a true competitor to Tesla and others in the luxury brands. And then also they have a conference call that was going on right about the time that this show started. I'll go back and watch this. But again, this is a great company to me in the future. I own shares of CCIV. I'm excited to see where this thing lands at the end of the day today. Otherwise, I don't have a ton more to add on that. Mitch, I think you've got some to add on CCIV here.
I'll go ahead and I'll jump in here and I'll add some stuff. I'm going to let some dates roll by at the bottom, guys. Just some dates that you guys should keep in mind, whether merger dates or earnings. So first will be some merger dates, and then I'll put the earnings ones at the bottom there so you guys can keep that going. But definitely, hey, a story of buy the rumor, sell the news, man. We were talking about it. It becomes binary at some point, and I think it was kind of like in a binary price point around 28 to 30s, where it was either going to keep going up or come down. But what ended up happening is it took way too long for this rumor to come out and turn into a definite agreement. And so maybe other SPACs can learn from this. If you don't release the information, what ends up happening is the market gets ahead of the information. And so this is what I always talk about. And you got to be careful with moments like these, because what ends up happening is the price gets put into the stock before the news is released. And as you guys can see, the moment the news gets released, boom. It's a sell moment, not a buy moment. And so you got to be careful for moments like this. And one thing that you can learn from this is it all depends on your entry. If your entry is down at kind of the safe level that we talk about, down in the 10s, down in the 11s, the 12s, then you're not even kind of worried this morning. Even it does pull back significantly here, but at least you're feeling comfortable. But if you went and you bought up in the 50s, and in one day you wake up and it's down to 36, 32, that's how you get yourself in a world of hurt. And I was trying to keep people safe on this on Twitter. A lot of people were saying that this was going to go to 100, 200, 300 after the news came out. And that's just, to me, just sounds of greediness and trying to make way too much money in one stock. And that's why you diversify, guys, and you don't load the boat all in one play. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and keep going. I'll put some more dates there. We got The Rock, we got the NBAC vote, and we also got some earnings that will be coming up that will be interesting. There's a couple of these that you got to keep an eye out and see how the evaluation is going to be after the earnings period. I know Chris is going to keep an eye on those. A lot of them coming up, in these next couple of days. So how did Helion, is it at the close today?
Yeah, it's after hours tonight, and we're seeing shares down about 9% now. Again, they announced that battery technology last week or the week before. So that's still a fresh news item that they'll have plenty of opportunity tonight to talk about. I also saw CEO Thomas Healy has been making the rounds with a couple of different, interviews throughout the week talking about that. So, again, this is a company where the earnings report, it's not going to be about the revenue. It's going to be about the future. So it's going to be talking about the battery tech. It's going to be talking about, were there any signed deals? What can we look for in the future? So definitely I'm excited about that HYLN call later. And then as you see at the bottom there, more earnings. I own FSR, Fisker. I'll be looking forward to that one. And then DraftKings. So DraftKings falling hard today. With all these SPACs, and, I want more exposure, to sports betting in my portfolio. So that's one that I'm definitely watching today on that pullback.
All right. So without further ado, I will touch some of the watch list and we'll look at some opportunities at the end. But I want to get right into our interview because we're already at 11:23. Let's get into our interview. Chris, go ahead, bring him on. Let's bring on Aaron.
All right, perfect. So, guys, I'm excited again on SPACs Attack here. We have another CEO interview. So we have Aaron Feldman joining us from Property Solutions Acquisition Corp. That's ticker PSAC. This is the SPAC that recently announced a business combination with Faraday Future, an electric vehicle company, valued at $3.4 billion. So, Aaron, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I'll let Chris get right into the questions, and I'll be back with some of my.
Very good.
All right, perfect. So, Aaron, we talked to people on both sides of the SPAC deal, right? So we talked to people, the companies that were acquired, and then also talked to people, from the SPAC. So, turning to the SPAC side of things, I gotta ask, PSAC, how many companies, did you look at to get a deal done? And how many companies, did you really dive into taking a hard look at bringing them public?
Yeah, sure. No, Chris, I appreciate the question because I think the answer is there was a substantial amount of work done on a number of companies. We reviewed roughly 65 companies prior to pursuing the merger with Faraday Future. I would say of the 65, we took a deep dive on about a dozen. And needless to say, this was the most exciting opportunity we uncovered, and we're thrilled to, quite frankly, pursue this deal.
Perfect. So, we'll dive into some detailed questions, but give us that one pager. What's the big thesis on why Faraday Future over some of the other companies that you may have looked at?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say just kind of high level. I think what's really happening today is the market is very excited clearly for the future of electrification, right? Coming out of 2020, technology and ESG are clearly the big winners. So I think important to understand that the electric vehicle market is not a zero-sum game. Recent market activity proves there is lasting enthusiasm for the future of the industry. Now, what does that mean for Faraday Future? It means they're in the game. It's a $5 trillion global game, and Faraday Future is positioned with an innovative and differentiated product, which we'll get into, but a strong strategy in place to capture multiple segments of the market, beginning with luxury consumers. And another thing I would add is, great achievements don't happen overnight. Faraday Future's been at this for some time. I think it should give you a little bit of pause when looking at some of the startups that may be more aspirational. Faraday has procured all of the necessary equipment for its California manufacturing facility. Its supplier tooling is virtually complete. The company's produced nearly 30 prototypes and 13 pre-production units. It's so far ahead of many of the startup companies as it relates to time to market, which for investors, just speaks to the lack of execution risk. So I'd say with 7 years of research and development behind them, Faraday Future is coming to market at absolutely the right time and is on the cusp of era-defining disruption.
Perfect. So, obviously, your company, Property Solutions, is the company behind this deal, bringing Faraday Future public. But you also had a strong pipe, with lots of big backers. I saw over 30 companies, it looks like, involved in the pipe from, China, Europe, and the U.S. Can you talk a little bit about some of those partners and what they mean for the validation of this deal?
Yeah, absolutely. It was important to us that we had a global outreach, which we were fortunate and successful in bringing in a global group of very, strategic and influential investors, into this $795 million oversubscribed committed common stock pipe. As you mentioned, this is a dual home strategy. This is a big differentiator for Faraday Future, where they will manufacture in both the United States, in addition to South Korea, in addition to China, where they've set up a framework agreement with a tier 1 city and a top 3 OEM.
Yeah, and I turned to China, and that was the thing that really caught my eye with the pipe was you have that tier 1 supplier from China, and then also it looks like a city from China was involved in that pipe deal, for possible future of a factory there. So I love seeing China involved from the start on this. Can you talk a little bit about what the future in China looks like and maybe those partnerships there?
Yeah, I can't disclose too much on that at this time. What I can say is that it's important, I think, for any player in the market, in the electric vehicle market, to have a presence in China. They're a big player. The consumption of electric vehicles is outpacing both the United States and Europe. And that trend is expected to continue. So again, I feel very confident in Faraday Future's ability to expedite the development of those relationships and scale faster into their business plan.
Perfect. So, I want to turn a little bit to technology. So I see in the presentation, IAI, which is Internet, Autonomous Driving, and Intelligence. And then also that Faraday Future is the world's only technology, luxury, intelligent, internet-based electric vehicle brand. So can you talk a little bit about what that means, how Faraday Future, is the first there, and with that new technology coming to market?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you pointed it out, because I think that, what we all kind of get in the habit of doing is distilling these companies down to the most elemental form. And that's fine, because, they're competing, based on their performance. And it's not going to be much longer before, each of the vehicles, electrified vehicles are able to go, 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. And, charge times are somewhat commoditized. The critical strength here that the market, I'm excited for the market to kind of understand, is the user experience. And the user experience is supported by many, many patents in and around software, connectivity, the digital ecosystem. You mentioned AI. The company has always positioned the car ready for autonomous driving when the technology and the regulatory environment catch up. So truly on the edge of innovation. And I think that, again, the differentiating factors are going to be software and user experience based. And that's really where Faraday Future will stand out. In addition to going 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds and having all of the kind of industry leading performance data to support it as well.
Great. So, we got to some of the money, we got to some of the technology. Now, let's talk about these cars. So, up first we have the FF91. It was announced 14,000 reservations, $180,000 price point. Mitch has got, it up on the screen there. So, can you talk a little bit about this car and why maybe the luxury market first with the FF91?
Yeah, the simple answer is it's brand defining. This is the type of halo product we think that will help build the brand, establish it globally. And the company has some very exciting plans to kind of go down market with a premium product, just at different price points. And so they'll start, as you said, with the FF91, which is only 12 months from production. I think that's a differentiating point that I can't emphasize enough. And that is, this is not a startup company, right? This is a company that has invested more than $2 billion to date. They're in the final stages of production, again, with over 40 pre-production assets, their own manufacturing facility in California. And I think that just gives me and should give investors, a lot of confidence. They're going to be able to execute on production, on schedule. And from there, they get into the development of the FF81, which is a premium mass market product, and then the FF71, which will be a mass market product at about call it a $50,000 to $65,000 price point. There's also plans for a last mile delivery vehicle. I think what's unique there is their variable platform architecture, which again, highly patented, gives the company the ability to scale into a variety of vehicles, right? Their entire fleet can be built on this one platform with many cost-saving attributes and of course, speed of execution. And so the last mile delivery is quite compelling. It'll give customers the opportunity to kind of tie into really unique, innovative software for them to run their logistics business around. So again, unlike other products on the market, and I think worth mentioning.
Perfect. So, you talked a little bit there about the FF81, the FF71. Does the competition and competitors change as you introduce, those new models, and kind of, you don't have to name the specific companies, but, maybe who or what do you see as the competition across the 91, 81, and 71?
Yeah, and I appreciate that, because I'm not going to get into the specific, competitors, but the pricing will range from, as I said, $50,000 to roughly, $200,000, and there will be three kind of vehicles that kind of are offering, we think, premium class finishes and user experience at each price point. And so when it comes to competitive positioning, the goal really is to differentiate at every price point, without compromising on the company's DNA, which again is, driven by one, tremendous experience across automotive and electrification, and again, software and, the kind of digital ecosystem I mentioned before.
Awesome. So, we talk about those future models, those future price points, is that pretty set? Or I guess another way to ask would be, what needs to happen, to get those price points and that timeline to take effect? Do costs need to come down? Does production need to go up? A combination of everything across the board?
Yeah, sure. So, we had the business plan as part of our, very thorough kind of due diligence. We had the business plan entirely vetted and validated by a global automotive consulting firm. We feel like the assumptions are very conservative and very achievable, with very low execution risk. The FF8 one, which is looking at 2023 production, nearly 60% of the supply tooling is done. And that is substantial, right? It's being built in the same variable platform architecture. I would also say that the CEO, Dr. Carsten Breitfeld, who is somewhat of a legend in the business, having spent 20 years at BMW, most recently leading the company's i8 program, we're talking about 2,400 vehicles in the first year for the FF91. There are over 14,000 pre-orders, right? So they're looking to convert 10 to 20% of those. And the way that I would frame that is by saying Carsten was used to producing 2,400 vehicles before lunchtime on your average day at BMW. So literally they were doing 5,500 cars a day or 2 million a year. So no, I am not concerned about execution here. I think that when the market starts to understand the team and how capable they are, and again, I mentioned the 43 pre-production assets because it's a differentiator relative to the other kind of so-called startups. Although we pegged value here, against some of the other startups in the market, we don't feel like, this is a startup company for reasons I've just mentioned.
Perfect. So, can you talk a little bit at sales model, right? So it looks like, going to be selling these cars online and then also, opening some self-owned stores, targeting the top 20 cities in the US, Europe, and China. So, what's the timeline of those stores opening, and could we see that 20 number, go up as demand rises, or are we pretty set on, just targeting those top 20 cities?
Sure. Yeah, I'm not going to disclose too much on that. I can tell you the company is certainly, being very thoughtful, both about the execution of their kind of retail footprint. You mentioned the 2025 cities. There is work being done. I would tell you that the marketing effort is going to be, quite dynamic as well. It's amazing, and it's a testament to the vehicle, and it's a testament to the enthusiasm around this vehicle that they've been able to achieve, the penetration and interest that they have to date without much by way of marketing. So again, very capable team, former heads of, kind of household name automotive companies who are on board kind of spearheading the global sales and distribution and service effort. I think it's important to understand that when you sell a car, you need to service the car, and they're being as thoughtful about how to make sure that the user experience doesn't end at the kind of purchase moment. And so I think that just speaks to their experience. Carsten, the CEO, again, he's such a pro. He's a German engineer. He's an under promise and over deliver kind of guy. And it's just reassuring. I think in a business as exciting as this one, you want to make sure that the team has the operating chops. And this team certainly does.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right,
Mitch.
so
You ready to jump
I'm going to
in?
go ahead and jump into some of my questions here. So one of the things that I wanted to focus on was the interior technology. I mean, this is really impressive stuff. I mean, I'm going to go ahead up and I'll put this up on the screen here, but explain us a little bit about the interiors of these vehicles and how much technology has been put into them. I mean, you can see here just the dash and that huge screen. I think it's going to be bigger than another stock that I will mention, but it'll be interesting to watch how the technology here is in just a dash alone, let alone if we kind of scroll a little lower and start seeing moments like this. I mean, if I can be a passenger riding like this in an electric vehicle and what I've been looking at, autonomous vehicles, this looks exciting to me. Tell us a little bit about this, Aaron.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate the excitement I hear in your voice. I mean, that's exactly the same way, we looked at it and reacted, when we first started to kind of understand, how unique this vehicle, really is. You mentioned the 27-inch monitor. It's mind-blowing. I mean, you can imagine being, in the backseat of that car, right? This was really designed not just for the driver and all the performance we discussed, but also for the passenger. And I think that'll play well globally. And you mentioned DraftKings to kind of picture yourself in the back with sports on, and it's truly exciting. I would say the kind of patents in and around first the kind of NASA inspired zero gravity seats, just kind of thinking of the first few things that come to mind. 60% recline. I mean that's greater than what you would find in a Bentley or a Rolls Royce or any other vehicle in the market. Most legroom in class. It's luxury materials across the board. There are individual sound zones for passengers. And it's not just the 27-inch screen in the back. There are 100 inches of screens and displays throughout the vehicle. So again, it's going to be, when I say era defining, I believe that's the right way to describe it.
Definitely. One thing I definitely can see is that the focus on technology here is beyond just what you would normally see in a vehicle. As much as as the screen on the passenger side, I like that idea. I haven't seen that one, and that was very interesting. Just to include something on the passenger side. I mean, a lot of times as a passenger, you kind of are on your phone, right?
Sure.
And so a screen in front of you giving you access to do certain things. That seems pretty interesting to me. So one last thing that I'd mention from the presentations is kind of when we get into the leaders in performance here. And this is interesting for me because I'm a big performance guy, and I have, I've heard a lot about that Porsche EV, but I mean, just look at the horsepower here, guys. 1,050 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.4, range of 378 miles. And a charge time 25 minutes here, man. That's pretty impressive results there. Is this kind of some of the things that you were definitely considering when you picked this company, Aaron?
Absolutely. We've taken a long-term view. This wasn't underwritten over a short period of time. I think as the market starts to understand and see what we see, it's going to be clear. It's going to be clear. And again, to your point, this is extreme across the board, with regards to technology and innovation. And so, yeah, no, I absolutely think that's the case. And I really appreciate you framing it that way.
All right, excellent. So Chris got a couple more to end up on, and I'll grab some from the chat.
Great.
Yeah, I just want to take a second, turn away from Faraday real quick. So Aaron, as we mentioned, you're with Property Solutions. We're a SPAC show here. We love talking about SPACs, and we love highlighting, when management teams bring, more than one SPAC to market. So, I can't go without saying that I see a second SPAC filed, with the ticker PSAG. Can you just tell us, quickly, what will you be looking at targeting with this SPAC? And then a follow-up would be, what's the future hold for you and your partners? Are you looking at doing more SPACs after those two as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just add, I think you guys do an excellent job, and I'm a fan of the show, but I think it's important, and I will answer the question momentarily. I would say it's been great to see everyone have the opportunity, and when I mean everyone, your audience have an opportunity to expand their own information footprint and understand the options they have in the market. And I think a platform like yours is very important. So I didn't want to lose the opportunity to kind of just get that out there, because I do feel, and I've learned a lot, and it's certainly a great tool. In terms of, property solutions, my partner and I, have spent our careers, just by way of background, mostly in real estate and early stage venture. So the kind of mandate, that we kind of set out on is property and financial technology. But we're looking for growth, and we're looking for disruption, and we're being, commercial and opportunistic across sectors, including, in the case of Faraday Future Electric vehicles. And so I would say with PSAC, Property Solutions 2, we will take the same approach. When we pursued, the Faraday Future deal, we had, as I said, taken a deep dive on a number of exciting companies. And, I think we were fortunate in some ways to get into this business before the tidal wave of new issuance as it kind of came into the market in late Q2, early Q3 last year. So, it's an exciting time, and we're happy to be a part of the market.
Perfect. So it looks like we have a couple questions from the chat here to get to, if you don't mind, Aaron. So, Mitch, what do you got from the chat here?
All right. So my man Carl is asking about what is the battery technology behind this, and how does that work?
Yeah, sure. So the battery technology is quite compelling because they've developed industry-leading proprietary and patented battery pack system. And so it's cost-effective. It's a laser welding process, which reduces manufacturing cost. In terms of safety, it's cell level for enhanced pack safety. I think what's really unique is the liquid coolant. So the cells are fully submerged in liquid coolant. Again, this is all patented, which provides enhanced safety, energy density, and temperature resistance. That helps improve performance. And again, I'm not a chief technologist, but these are certainly, some of the unique, characteristics of their battery pack, and again, protected by patents. Highly efficient as well, I would add.
Perfect. So then the other question I saw here, and I'm curious to hear, especially with those partners and some of those investors on that pipe deal, and as we talk about China, what does vertical integration look like? Is Faraday, working on vertical integration? Do we have partners here, to get these vehicles made?
Sure. Again, not going to get into too much detail on this. I will say that the company has been very thoughtful about supply chain. They've been very thoughtful about positioning, specifically in the Chinese market. As I mentioned, they have the support of a tier 1 city and a top 3 OEM, in addition to one of the largest insurance companies and one of the largest private dealerships, car dealerships. So I think pretty well positioned. That is a unique differentiator, but I'm not going to go into too much more detail on that at this time.
Perfect. So, it looks like that's going to be it today on time. Again, we were able to ask all our questions. We were able to get to, a couple questions from the viewers. We want to thank Aaron Feldman, from Property Solutions. So that's ticker PSAC, bringing electric vehicle Faraday Future, to the public markets via SPAC. So, Aaron, thanks for your time today. We look forward to following, the progress of the company. We look forward to seeing that vehicle in person someday. And, I got to say a big thank you, too, for the kind words that you said about the show. That definitely, was awesome to hear. So, thank you.
Hey, no question, guys. I appreciate the opportunity and hopefully speak to you again soon.
Yeah, got to put those 1,000 horsepowers to the wheels, man. So we'll have to check that out. All right. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right, guys, you guys heard it first here on SPAC's Attack, guys. So definitely smash the like button if you enjoyed that interview. I know I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm just trying to rent one of these things and have some fun. I don't know about you guys, but I've done some long road trips. I actually moved from Florida all the way to Colorado and drove So I'll just say it would have been nice to have someone driving the U-Haul and been sitting in the back seat of this vehicle. So I'll be interested in watching this and also watching the competition between and now I'll say between the three. So Porsche, Tesla, and this one and Faraday. Well, let's see what happens there, because I think those are the three leaders here. You could look at Audi, you could look at some Jaguar or NIO, but really, those are the three to me that stand out, at least in my opinion. It would be Tesla, Faraday, and the Porsche. So we'll see what happens with those. Definitely, guys, hit the subscribe bell if you're not subscribed to Benzinga. We do this every single day for free, and I think you really can't get this kind of value anywhere else, especially for free, guys. There's everyone trying to charge you, everyone trying to do a premium on you, a freemium and then premium move on you. We're not doing that here, guys. So definitely smash the like button. Let's get into some of the watch lists. Let's get out of this. Chris, if you want to leave off any last comments before we move into the watch list, and then we can talk about some stocks today.
The decision for me here is I don't know if I would rather drive one of those vehicles or rather be a passenger in that back seat with that big screen and all that leg room. I'm a tall guy. It's hard sometimes to find that leg room and that comfort, in a vehicle. And man, that thing just, it jumps off the page, when you put that presentation up there. I love that they're going after luxury first and then, the mass market later on. This is an exciting one, guys.
All right, guys, and I'm already seeing mention in the chat, you forgot Lucid. Well, guys, it wasn't on that chart, so I was just going off of the presentation there, guys. I know you guys like Lucid. I can't blame you. I've seen those vehicles, too. They look good, too. I won't say they don't look good. I definitely, if you want to pass one over, slide it over. I won't be mad at you. All right, guys, let's get into some of our watch list time. Let's see what's moving. We got a couple minutes left, about 10 minutes left, guys. So let's see what's on the move. What can we get on discounts today when the SPACs go on sale, man? All right, guys, going to take a look at the watch list. Of course, if you guys see anything standing out, just go ahead and put those tickers in the chat, and we'll kind of roll through maybe one or two of those. But definitely, you know what I want to do today? I want to actually flip this. I want to see what's down the most. All right, guys, so down the most, of course, you see CCIV, but another one here that's very interesting to me is TPGY. I was actually looking at this one and kind of getting a little interested. I want to take a look here at the chart and see if we can get it cheaper than when it came out here. We were back here in kind of the 11 10s, and then it jumped up towards the 20. Let's see if we can get underneath kind of this gap down. If we can get underneath that gap down, then I think you'll be in a little bit better position than everyone that was in this time. So I'll be taking a look at this one, TPGY. Anything you want to add to this one, Chris?
I love the charging plays. TPGY looks attractive to me here. I own SBE and SNPR. Those are my two charging infrastructure plays right now. But, I'm looking for more on the pullback today. So definitely like you bringing that one up as, you guys may get an opportunity to get in, cheaper than people who bought in on that deal announcement.
All right. Just like the cat in the back, creeping in Romeo Power, man. I can't blame him. I actually, hey, full disclosure, guys, I got in a little bit yesterday at 413. Then I added some more this morning, of course, at around 1160s, 1170s, and actually pulling me to an average of 1290s. And I still have one more buy. So I've been averaging down on this one and looking to maybe get even below that 1180 ad that I got. So if I can go down into 11 or 10, I'll still keep a little bit of shares of Romeo here. So it did get a huge discount from where we were originally watching it from, but I like this story to kind of turn here. So I'll be watching this one. Hopefully kind of this bottom here on December 2nd holds. The bottom is 1288, so we need it to get right back above that level. and get right back into the 14s to make us feel a little bit more confident here. But not feeling too bad. I'm averaged around 1290s and looking to add a little bit more on this one. Just want to give you guys my actual entries, which, majority of the people in the world won't. All right, guys, so let's keep rolling through here. Let's see what else we see on this. So one thing that I'm seeing is Ride doing a 10% pullback. That's interesting here. This company is one that I'm kind of interested in. And Chris, we talked about it before, that if it could come back down closer towards this 18 and create a kind of the third bottom kind of look, we had to move up. A pull back, a move up, a pull back, a move up. Let's see if it kind of gets some volume here near 18s. That's going to be the area that I'm going to be looking for, guys, in Ride. All right, so seeing in the chat mentioned a bunch of times XL. Matt, I got you, Matt. So XL, let's see what's going on in XL. And Chris, what do you think of XL here as we're getting down towards lower and lower supports here?
Yeah, I like XL. This is one I was in before and sold. The electrification story for me, I own GIK, I own HYLN, so a couple other players out there. But I'm looking to add more. XL is one I've liked the deal from the start. So on this pullback today, it looks attractive to me.
Yeah, so to me, I'm drawing you two supports here, guys, and this is strictly based off of the September 21st and kind of September 25th period. But if that's kind of the price area that I would look at. Somewhere in between this is what I'm looking at. So just to give you guys an idea, so this is about $14 here, and they moved down to maybe around the 12, maybe 1150s. So somewhere in between there, I'll be probably trying to get a little piece of XL. I have no problem with trying to get in somewhere in between there, measuring down below that 1150 as my risk, and then giving me an opportunity for this to get back up to, let's say, 20s, 22s, where you'll probably run into a little bit of resistance because of this sideways consolidation period, because a lot of these people probably got stuck in this trade. And so that'd be the first target around this 22, and then looking for it to get another buy kind of catalyst there around 22, or maybe you look at the overall EV sector and it's moving up there around that 22 when it's around 22, and then it starts driving up there to 28s and 30s. One that I'd keep in mind to watch is Helion in this sector, and I want to see this one kind of lead. And that's going to be really key, I think, to watching it. If we can get a leader in one of these, whether it be Helion, XL, or Romeo, we need some leaders. I don't know how you feel about that, Chris, but I feel like we kind of need someone to start looking strong here.
Yeah, I think definitely. It'd be nice to see, the unit numbers, right? How many deals are signed? What does that look for units? What does that look like for revenue? Mitch, I got two for you today.
Let's do it. What you got?
Two that I'm watching, right now. And guys, again, don't go buy these right this second. This is not investment advice. This is just what I'm watching. But I want Mitch to pull up the charts and tell me what he thinks. So up first we have CAPA. So this is the one that This is the one that ARC funds, right? Kathy Wood actually was part of the pipe on it, right? So this thing rocketed. It was up over 100% day one. This is genomics, protein, a semiconductor, and it was founded by the same guy who founded Butterfly Network, right? So, great team there. Kathy Wood is involved. To me, I'm looking at this pullback today. I missed my entry point on day one. So I'm looking around, 15s today. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be really interesting. One of the things is you don't really have levels to go off of. Sometimes I draw out that support there, and I'll try to describe it on that support, but there's really nothing there. So you got to be careful with this one. It's one of those that I would maybe put I'd split my entry probably into even force. Why would I want to do that? Because I would probably put some in here at 15, then average down maybe into 1350s and then 1250s, which would give me about an average somewhere between this $13 and $14. And then I feel like, at least I'm managing my risk a little bit, closer. Let's say a $2 risk or a $3 risk. And then the real key that I like, and this is all about based on your strategy or how you like to trade, but I'd always look for a 2-to-1 return. So if we're going to risk about $3 or $4, then we need at least $6 or $8 on the upside. So let's say from that $8 up, 23s doesn't seem too bad there, just to kind of give that mentality. And that's what it's all about. You have to start thinking about these in probability and what's the best probable outlook and risk to return. And what I like to do is I look for at least a 2-to-1, but really my best trades are 3-to-1s and 4-to-1 looks.
All right, and one more. So this is ticker LFTR. This one I know.
Actually, I've been thinking about this one too, just to give you some
eyesight. I
eyesight.
about this one this morning as well. This was mentioned on our crypto SPAC target show. This one ran up, right? So the management team here, you have the former CEO of E-Trade, you have the former COO of TD Ameritrade, and you actually have the former chief officer of Coinbase. So to me, they're targeting fintech, but to me, it's crypto. Right, I would be surprised if they didn't land a crypto deal. And here you had this run up, right? As we saw crypto SPACs get hot, that huge volume bar, and now you have shares trading under 11. To me, this is a good entry point. It's the best entry point we've had since the start of the month. So this one is on my watch for today. What do you think on that chart, Mitch?
So the thing that I'd point out is when the announcement was made, I was pretty sure this is that 19th of February, that big breakout bar, right? And so the people that got in on that day, right, and even if you got in, let's say the day prior, they got in somewhere around, let's say 1090s, 11s, 1120s, and so they piled in and they saw it rise towards, let's say, this 1240. Then the next day they were probably watching this trade and they were like, well, I'll sit back and let this one kind of work its way back up there to that 1240. And then you get this extreme gap down. And this is why you got to diversify in SPACs, guys. It's not about just one trade and load the boat mentality. Even though you're going to get that kind of FOMO feeling when you see a stock like, let's say, even in my case, CCIV, guys, I never really owned the shares. I called the stock, missed the trade, and once it broke out, I even told Chris, I can't take it. I have rules that I set myself, and I follow those rules, whether that be because I missed and I have FOMO. But a lot of times when I've ever missed on a trade, I go and I overextend when I get in. And next thing you know, I'm looking at myself like, Mitch, you know these rules. Come on, listen to yourself. And so what I would say about this chart is you get a chance here at a really good opportunity time because it went down to 1050 today. And you could have been getting in where people were getting in, let's say, early February or even late December. And so that's the kind of things that I look at, guys. Volume profile is so important in these. Where is the volume actually piling in? Is it piling in at the 11s? Is it piling in at 1050? Or is it all piled in early in the SPAC, kind of like the 1020s, $10? So you got to know kind of where the positioning is so that you can judge this. One of the ways that I've been doing this lately, guys, and I'm going to reach out to Webull because they've actually been doing a great job on this, is that position and understanding at least their data. So we'll see what we can do with this, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about this. Also looking to kind of introduce this tool also in Benzinga Pro in the near future. So working towards it, guys. Keep working and finding those opportunities because there's some great ones. Like today, I was looking, and I have to look down to see if I got filled. I don't want to kind of be back and forth about this, but CCX, guys, to me, this was a great opportunity because CCIV getting knocked down gives you an opportunity to get this one really cheap. I was looking at this one this morning to try to get in near $10. It looks like I haven't gotten filled. I put in my order literally at 10, so it's not like I'm too far from that. But let's see if I could get an entry there. I mean, I won't mind grabbing this one at 10 and then just hanging tight until it could probably rip on up again. And CCIV, even though it turned around, it made a massive move. So why not get into this stock and take it at a cheap rate near this $10 price point? And what we always talk about, as close as you can get to $10, right? I mean, there's not too much closer than 10. So what you think about that one, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I like that. That is one thing that if you go look across the board today with the sell-offs, this is the first time in a while you're seeing a lot of SPACs trade close to $10. Providing some good entry points. And then as I talked about, some of those units that recently priced, a lot of these units when these SPACs IPO are trading closer to 11, and you're seeing more units now around 10.50. So there you're able to get that common share and that portion of that warrant, for 10.50. So, kind of creating that arbitrage yourself, like Julian Klimachko has talked about. There's some buying opportunities out there today. So definitely, know your risk reward, create a watch list. If you don't have a watch list already, and we can help you here. Listen to the ones we talk about on the show. You don't have to buy them the day we talk about them. Put them on a watch list and then look for your entry points on a day like today.
All right, guys. All right. So one thing I definitely want to do is start prefacing that the ZingerNation is coming on, guys. So if you guys are looking for the ZingerNation, go ahead and check it out, guys. It's going to be starting up right now. It should already be starting. I'm going to put the link here in the chat and keep putting it up in the chat so you guys can switch on over. This is something new that we're doing, guys. And so one thing that we wanted to do is really separate our brands. I mean, we worked hard to build this family here at SPACs Attack. And so we want to keep building that family, but we also want to keep building our other shows. So definitely, guys, check out ZingerNation. I really call it the hype show of Benzinga, because at the end of the day, if you want some hype, you want some energy, you want to wake up, go check out my man Hot Stocks Lukes and Jason Raznick talk about stocks. They bring on a bunch of different people, from penny stocks to SPACs to all over the place. I mean, you can learn biotech, you can learn, it's really a show just about where the momentum is, where the next trade can be, and I'm sure Hot Stocks Luke's will be taking some trades live. So guys, switch on over, go ahead, leave us be. Chris, let's go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. I'm gonna put the video on for the next show coming on, so everybody knows that let's time to switch on over, guys. Let's switch on over here, guys. So I'm gonna put it up again in the chat here, and I got to put it into the chat here pinned up. Oh, it looks like it's already there. Look, guys, at the top of the pinned chat, go to the Power Hour. Check it out, guys. If you haven't checked it out before, I definitely suggest it, because at the end of the day, if you're looking to find where the momentum is today, this is exactly where you'll probably find it, guys, on this show. So anything else you want to leave off on, Chris?
No, that, everyone, go ahead, hop over to that other stream. Reminder, we do have another interview tomorrow. This is REE Automotive. That's ticker VCVC. So join us tomorrow. But just because it's not one long stream doesn't mean you can't check out this other great content. So hop on over to ZingerNation. Let them know you're there. They've got some great interviews coming up with a couple public companies today as well. So stay tuned and hop over to that other stream.
All right, Chris, we'll see you next time on the SPACs Attack, baby. All right, guys, I'm going to start playing the video here, the next show, and I'll be back in about a minute or two just to push you guys even further to the Power Nation. Don't miss out, guys. If you guys are still here, you're missing out on the Power Nation. The Power Hour is going on. Hot Stocks Luke's is probably already making picks and already buying stocks. So I'm sure with these discounts, my man's looking for some buys. So check him out, guys. And we'll see you next time on SPACs Attack, guys. What's going on, guys? Why are you still here, guys? You guys are missing the show. Go over to the Power Nation, guys. Hit the link in the chat, guys. Get on over. I'm going to be shutting this down in about 1 minute here, guys. So if you're not over at ZingerNation, you're going to miss out, guys. So just hit to our homepage, hit the link right there in the description or in the chat, and you guys will see the next show. We'll keep going with the ZingerNation. Let's do it.